Hello! Today we're going to be checking out what's in this little box from Cadax, but just before we get into that, a quick reminder to please like or dislike this video if you didn't like it, comment down below, don't forget to subscribe, and if you can find that little bell icon, click on it, it might tell you if I'm uploading stuff. I'm excited about this because my favourite camera ever, and I still go on about it, is the Caddx Ratel. There's one in this Nazgul 5, I've got another one up there on one of my nice quads I like to use. This is the Baby Ratel, and people have mentioned it to me a few times, and it's one I really wanted to check out. So if we open up the box, I'll show you what we get there. Little card from Cadax, and this is really the guts of it. It's the standard nano size. I'm saying that, I'm guessing it because I haven't got the specs up. I think that's 14mm across. This one has a 1.8mm lens, which is, there it is under there, and it's got the connectors here for the normal power, ground and video, and here's for the little OSD changer. So this can flick between PAL and NTSC and can handle 4:3 or 16:9 ratio, and you can flick between those as well, so a little bit to set up. Also in the box in the bottom, this is handy, we get one of these little mounts, and the idea is that this can fit inside, and this transforms it to a 19mm camera, which is quite common in your sort of 3-inch models, as opposed to the nano camera, more smaller, like the toothpick, the Whoop styles. Finally in here we got a little bag of bits. We got the OSD joystick, we've got a couple of cables to connect, and we got a couple of screws for mounting and a little Allen key for doing so. So I want to put this on something. I think I'm going to put this on the Lao 3. I recently installed the Runcam Phoenix 2 Nano on this one, so I'll swap it out for that. That was a quite good camera. Pretty happy with what we had there, but I'm expecting good things from this. I will be swapping this out. This is... if you watch this video, you'll know why I'll be swapping this VTX out, but that will be coming off, and this will be going on. Looks like I might need the little surround to put it in that one, but we'll figure it out when we get there. So let's go and put that in now, and we'll see what we have to set up. Right, so here's the little Baby Ratel installed, and it was very easy in this one. So easy in fact that I forgot to actually shoot a thumbnail image. Normally I take the little camera by itself and I'll shoot a quick still of that. So at the moment I'm kind of using the one from the website at the moment. I was lucky though, because coming out of this camera we had a couple of plugs like this one. This one goes into the OSD one. There was another one like that, and I just happened to have, because I had so many spare cables, a cable that would go from that end and a completely different size one to go through there, which is why there's quite a lot of cable there. If this was permanently there, I'd cut that down so it was a nice short cable, but it's probably going to only stay there for like a week or two before I test another one. So this is like a 19mm mounting, so I've got that little jacket over the top of it, but everything seems pretty nice. So before I put the top on, I thought I'd check out, see what we've got on the OSD setting, see if there's anything we need to change for starters. Probably like the aspect ratio and perhaps PAL instead of NTSC, but we'll have a look. We'll use a little squishy Cartman here as my thing to look at, and let's turn on and see what we need to do there. Just made sure we're recording on the Fat Sharks, and yep, there's Cartman looking squishy. So let's have a quick look here, see what our options are. I'm not expecting anything different than normal, it's mostly the same thing. So auto exposure is there, we've got an advanced setting which is all set to auto at the moment. White balance is auto white balance, as you'd expect. Day night is set to EXT. I'll take this out at night later, because I do notice it says it's a starlight camera. Image enhance, all auto, so nothing pretty amazing there. And video settings, oh, we're set to PAL, which is good. And I'm just going to change my image ratio here, because I've got 16:9 goggles. WDR is obviously on. If it's off, look how dark it goes. So we like WDR on. Language is English, so I'm going to save and exit that. And oh, I think it's definitely changed a bit, hasn't it? Because it's changed the way the frame looks in the little monitor I'm looking at. There he is. But yeah, not too much in that. So I'm going to disconnect that, put the top on, and sort of shove that away until I go out night flying, and we'll see how this camera does when we fly it. Okay, so here we are ready to test the little Baby Ratel, and once again apologies to the guys that keep saying I'm only testing cameras in gorgeous weather. I'm not gonna complain about the fact that the weather's very nice at the moment. I've tested plenty of cameras in the rain and it's fairly miserable, but yeah, conditions are kind of ideal for this camera, so we'll be seeing the best of it. So read into that how you want it, and but basically I'll be going out there doing some DVR footage and seeing how it looks, so let's get on with it. Alright, so we're up and away with the Baby Ratel. I've got this VTX running in 200 milliwatts because I figured, well, that's my norm. I'll try that. And what are we getting here? Well, we're getting a pretty nice picture. It's not too dissimilar to the sort of big brother, the Ratel, which I actually flew on the same day. So it felt very familiar moving between the regular size Ratel and the Baby. I do notice that there is some oversaturation in the Ratels generally, so everything is looking a little bit redder than it should. Perhaps the greens are a little bit greener. These are things that if you care about, you can basically tune down. For me, it was like, well, it all looks fairly good. I can see what's happening. I can pick out decent detail. It all looks fine to me. Obviously, I don't think the Baby's quite got the picture of the full size, because I think it's got a slightly different sensor, it's got a different lens size. These things all make subtle differences, but of what I'm seeing here, I'm getting a really nice picture and I'm pretty happy with it. So the Ratel has not let me down as far as an FPV camera goes. Even if you shrink it a bit and put it in a 3-inch, it's looking pretty nice. What I wanted to try and do, of course, is look for different areas of the field to give different sort of light conditions. All I've got here is a little bit of shadow, and if I go through here, what we don't see is any sort of hesitation or delay in the camera being able to adjust itself for that, which is pretty much what we'd expect as well. And yeah, I'm just able to pick stuff out nicely. It's all looking really very nice indeed, and I'm having a good fun flying. I think the better you can see, the happier you are flying, and you'll just have a sort of better situation. See, I've got no problems sort of getting myself in between my little slalom course of massive weeds of whatever they are. Anyway, I bought 5 batteries with me for this. The reason I've dwelled on this first one for a while is what happened on the second flight, where things went a little bit adrift, I'm afraid. So here we go, off for the next flight, and I was again determined to try and find some shaded areas. And I thought, oh look, there's some shade under these bits of tree. I'll go along there and I'll see what's going on. And you really don't see any difference at all. I don't actually know if the shadow's reaching me. If it is, the camera's handling it very nicely. If it's not, well, you practically can't tell. Going through different areas of light equals practically the same stuff. And then I thought, oh look, there's some more shadow under this sort of barn thing. I'll come back here and I'll go slow and I'll see if I can see anything. You can see it's darker, but when you get there, it just really quickly does the light very nicely. And this is where things went wrong. You'll know I've flown out much further than this, much lower, but I go up high here and suddenly I see, I'm just looking at the sun there, see what happens. I get an RX loss and the thing falls out of the sky. I react a bit slowly, I rearm it, I pump the throttle, but it's too late and it's gone down. Well, I'm having all the luck today. Now got it put into a tree twice. This one's now suffered a full-on RX loss and just plummeted down. Tried to rearm, which it did, but I didn't have time to pull out, unfortunately. So I don't know, I think we'll find a few things broken, I expect, from that sort of height, but hopefully just props. Now, you'll notice there's no footage of me going along and showing you the beeper and how I got this back, and that's because I had what I would describe as a bit of a sense of humour fail. I got to where approximately I should have been able to hear the beeper, and there was no beeper to be heard. And I think what had happened, if you'd seen my review on the Rush FPV Tank Ultimate 2, I put my Nazgul 5 into several crashes, and at one of the points the beeper had come out in this thick undergrowth, and I spent a long time looking for it. I don't know exactly how long. It could have been like at least half an hour, maybe longer, trying to get it. And then I did the same thing again. And so that beeper was going off for a long time, and I think because I hadn't charged it, I thought it was okay. It had run out of battery essentially. So I was then faced with the fact that I thought I had a battery loss and I had no beeper, and I had to try and find this thing in sort of 3-4 foot grass. So I reviewed my DVR footage, tried to work out exactly where I was in line when it went down, and I started walking, and very luckily it turned out that the battery hadn't disconnected, but I'd got zero picture in my goggles because it was like upside down buried, and it wasn't a telemetry receiver, so I couldn't use that. But I heard this very faint beaconing from the motors, which is quite a useful thing to have on. I think the BL Heli does it by default anyway. So I heard that, I managed to get to the quad, picked it up. Initially it looked like everything was perfectly intact. I mean, even these props are completely flyable, but I did just feel this sharp bit under the arm, and it turns out that that's because this arm is dead. It's going to detach, so I need to find a new frame for that. So that was it for flying for the day. And annoyingly, the beeper was nowhere to be seen. If it had come down there, it should have been in that area, but it wasn't. When I look back at the DVR footage very carefully, I think when I was pumping that throttle, you see the picture go, but you can just see this horizon line change. Now, either that was it on a bounce, or that thrust up did something, so maybe it hit the ground, went up again and hit again, and the beeper's somewhere else. Anyway, I spent all that time getting all my hands cut up on thorns and stuff, finding that beeper, and then I lose it again. But that's a shame, but at least I got the quad back. But I couldn't fly anymore because it needs a new frame. However, I can go test what this looks like in night mode, because I can just go in my garden and wander around with it and look like a crazy person to all my neighbours. So let's go do that and see how it looks.
Hello all, just gone 9:30 here, and it's getting quite dark. The street light's helping over there. This side's quite dark, so let's see how the little Baby Ratel does in this sort of light. It's supposed to be a nighttime camera, so it'll be interesting to test.
And the answer is, yeah, it's pretty impressive. I think it lives up to its credentials as, I think they call it a starlight camera. I'm really getting quite a light image over here. It's really picking up what little light there is and being able to turn it into something better. Again, that street light, which really doesn't show up when I film with the phone, looks like it's casting a massive light when you look at it here. Now, in black and white, the big Ratel had a bit of a smeariness on black and white, and this seems to be the same, especially when we've got little areas of light. You'll see there's a sort of an image retention, like a delay. So black and white's quite sharp looking and you get detail, but I can't be doing with it because of the way it sort of smears around and stuff. So once again, colour is where it's at for me. But I think this is darker than I might be flying in. So certainly for dusk, it's going to be like flying in full sunlight. And even when it's, you know, too dark to see properly, you're absolutely fine. Now that was me just tripping into something, because basically I put my goggles on, I wander around the garden looking at stuff, but of course it doesn't mean I actually know where my feet are. But yeah, in terms of night mode, this is a good camera, and obviously daytime mode, it's looking good as well. So overall, I'm very happy. So there you go, this was the little Caddx Baby Turtle, which I was quite impressed with. Like the fact it's got two sizes you can use, so it's a nano and a micro camera. And I like the picture you got from it. A little bit oversaturated, so it looked a little bit red, but because it's got that OSD board built in, you can at least tune those colours and get it down to how you wanted. A very nice camera. It doesn't stand out to be the very best like I thought the big brother Ratel was. So it's not that different to, say, the little Runcam Phoenix Nano 2, although the only annoyance with this is the connectors at the top. It didn't come with the OSD board that you need to change the settings. But it's a good thing that we've got multiple smaller cameras that are very, very good, and you know, you're not stuffed into buying a single thing. There's lots of choices. Also like the fact that that 1.8mm lens was quite wide. I was able to come in and get that landed without a problem. So yeah, overall pretty happy with it. I'll go back and do some more flying, but I have to find a new frame for this one first, because I don't think that's going to fly so well. So sorry for the short test there, but at least maybe I'll manage to get out in different conditions, and we'll see how the camera does in a less than perfect light. But anyway, this has been the Caddx Baby Ratel, and was kindly supplied by review from Banggood, so thanks very much to them. And of course you can find details down below for where you can check out the product in more details. I hope that's been helpful, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye for now.
Well, you've made it to the end of the video, so thanks once again for watching. If you like what you saw, then please consider subscribing, and if you really like what you saw, then be sure to check out the link to my blog for a variety of ways in which you can help support this channel.